This is the topic for a study guide. Number 1 says solve each equation, then write the equation in the appropriate box below. So I have A, 7x equals 63. I'm going to draw the line to show my equal track. I'm going to circle the variable because I have to get that alone. And 7x means 7 times x. So I have to do the inverse operation of times, which is divide. So I'm going to divide by 7. I'm left with x. I got to do the same thing on the other side. Divide by 7. And I am left with x equals 9. B, x minus 2 1/4 equals 3 1/8. So start with my equal track, circle my variable. This is minus 2 1/4, so I have to do the inverse operation, which is plus 2 1/4. That cancels out. I'm left with x. What I do to this side.
Please close all classroom doors. This is a tardy sweep. Any students in the hallways must report to the library immediately. Again, teachers, please close all classroom doors. This is a tardy sweep.
What I do to this side, I must do to this side. So I'm going to add 2 1/4. However, I cannot add the fractions because the denominators are different. So I'm going to change 1/4 to 8ths. 4 times 2 is 8, so I multiply by the same number on top. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I have 3 1/8 plus 2 2/8. So let me rewrite the fraction part. 1/8 plus 2/8. That gives me 3/8. I'm going to put it over here. And then the whole numbers, 3 plus 2 is 5. So x equals 5 3/8. C, x over 4. So remember, this line means divide. Draw my line, circle my variable. If this is division, I have to do the inverse, which is multiplication. So times 4 cancels out. I'm left with x. Multiply by 4 on the other side. I'm going to do it over here so I have more space. 2.25 times 4. So I'm multiplying a decimal number. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Decimal point. Count the number of places. 1, 2. Move it back in. 1, 2. So my x equals 9. Okay. D. 3 5 6 plus x equals 7 5 6. Draw the line. Circle the variable. This is addition, so I have to do the inverse, which is subtraction. Minus 3 5 6 cancels out. I'm left with x. Minus 3 5 6. What is 5 6 minus 5 6? That's nothing. So that's 0. So all I have to do is subtract the whole numbers. 7 minus 3 is 4. X equals 4. And E. Draw the line, circle the variable. This is subtraction, so I have to do the inverse, which is add. Plus 1.08, that cancels out. I'm left with x. I'm going to add plus 1.08. I'm adding decimals, so I'm lining up the decimal points. 8 plus 2 is 10, carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. When I'm adding, the decimal point drops straight down, and x equals 4. So when you get to your SAVIS is going to ask you to pick the equations with the solution x equals 4. Well, this equation, D, equals 4, the solution is 4, and E, the solution is 4. It's also going to say, what are the equations where x equals 9? A equals 9, C equals 9. And what equations don't have either one of these as a solution? Well, that was 5 3/8 for B. And was there another one? No, that was it. Okay, so there we go. That's problem 1. Problem 2, which graph represents the solutions of the inequality m is less than 4? So remember, we need to look to see, is it a closed circle, open circle? Here's an open circle, closed circle. So what does less than mean? It means that we can plug in any number for m, but it has to be less than 4. So let's pretend it's 1. 1 is less than 4. So I want to look for the arrow where it's showing 1 as a possible solution. So this dark shaded line is showing me that 1 is a possible solution. This one is going this way. It does not show 1, so I can automatically cross this one off. This one is going to the right, does not show 1 as a possible solution, so I can cross it off. D is showing 1 as a possible solution. So it's either B or D. So now I'm going to look to see, what is the circle? Remember that an open circle is the less than or greater than sign. A closed circle is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So when I'm looking at this, I see that this is not or equal to. So it's not going to be a closed circle. It's an open circle. So I'm looking at these two circles. I can see this one is open on 4 and it's showing me all the solutions less than 4. So B is the correct answer. Okay, 3. Choose all the equations that are true if x equals 8. So there are 3 answers. So I'm going to plug in 8 for the variable for all of these. So let's start with the first one. 7 over 9 times x equals 6 2/9. So I'm going to rewrite it here. 7 over 9, instead of x, I'm going to write 8 times 8 equals 6 2/9. Well, 8 as a fraction is 8 over 1. So what is 7 times 8? And remember, fractions I multiply straight across. 7 times 8 is 56. And 9 times 1 is 9. So this is an improper fraction. Does this give me 6 2/9? So I have to divide. How many times can 9 go into 56? 9 can go into 56 6 times. 9 times 6 is 54. And there's 2, actually, let me do the division. Okay. Goes in 6 times. When I subtract, I have 2 left over. So I have 6 wholes and 2 left over out of 9. So when I plug in 8, it does give me 6 2/9. So this is correct. Okay, let's do this one. If I plug in 8 for x, is 8 plus 11.5 going to give me 20.5? Well, I know that 8 plus 11 gives me 19. So if I add the 0.5, I'm not going to get 20.5. So I don't even have to do the math. I'm going to cross that one right off. The next one, 23.42 minus 8. Let's check. 23.42 minus 8. And remember, 8 is a whole number, so we're going to put a decimal point and add in placeholders. When I subtract it, 2 minus 0 is 2, 4 minus 0 is 4, and I can't take away 8 from 3, so I have to steal. 13 minus 8 is 5, and 1 minus nothing is 1. We're subtracting decimals, so we bring the decimal point straight down, and I get 15.52. Well, this is 15.52, so yes, this is true. The next one, 11 times x, when x is 8. So 11 times 8, that gives me 88. I don't have to do the math. I know my 11 times tables, so I know that is true. And the last one, 40 divided by 8. Well, I know 8 times 5 is 40, so it can't be 6. So this is not true. So those are my 3 answers. Okay, number 4. Alexis wrote 28 minus 8 equals 20. Then she wrote 28 minus 8 plus b equals 20 minus b. Are her equations balanced? So we are going to look at the original equation, 28 minus 8. Okay, over here, she wrote 28 minus 8, and then she wrote plus b. On the right side of her original equation, she has equals 20. On the right side of this equation, she has equals 20, but she put minus b. So did she do the same thing to both sides? If she did, her equations would be balanced. But here we can see this is addition and this is subtraction. So the equations are not balanced because Alexa did not do the same thing to each side of the original equation. Number 5, Slater's 6th grade teachers are planning a picnic for the students. The cost of food for each student attending the picnic is $6.50. The school's budget includes $150 for food for the picnic. Write an inequality to represent the number of students S who can attend the picnic if the school stays within its food budget. So this is the cost for food for each student is $6.50. But the school only has $150 that they can spend. That's the budget. So we need to use an inequality. So that means less than, greater than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Those are the symbols we are using. So if it is $6.50 times the number of students, it could be 1 student, it could be 10 students, it could be 100 students. It has to be, the amount that we spend for all the kids has to be less than or exactly $150 because we can't go over budget. All right, I'm going to pause here and then come back and watch part 2.